Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have any audio for this? Yes, we do. I don't even ask, and there's an answer. Thank you. Hello, everybody. This is Marilyn, and it's Welcome to My World, the noon edition. And this is Wednesday, the 13th of July. So, my goodness, we've had a little activity in crude oil today. And I can't really say the same for the rest of it, but looks like NQ traders had a pretty good opportunity around 11, a little before 10:30. And gold has made some decent trending moves this morning. The indices have been both up and down, and don't seem to be taking a real direction. This is kind of a typical July. I just heard some kind of a noise. I don't know what is. I must be still connected. It says so. Anyway, the interesting thing I noticed today is that while crude oil took a real downturn here, it didn't necessarily affect the Canadian dollar quite as much. Canadian dollar went up, and it's pretty much stayed up there. It's bounced around a little bit, but those two usually travel right together. The euro's having a bit of a recovery today, which is kind of interesting. So, I thought I'd talk about this crude oil and the inventory today because this is a really good opportunity. We haven't seen this for quite a while. But if you go back here and you're kind of expecting, I put chop box on here this morning early. It did break this, but it wasn't much. And then when I turned around and started watching this about time for the inventory, if you notice this is why we tell you don't take a trade in crude oil with that inventory unless you have a pretty strong conviction or you're a pretty experienced trader. But look at this. It went, this is 10:30 and 1 second. Or, yeah, 10:30 and a tenth of a second right here at this A. It's still 10:30, 10:30, 10:30, 10:30, all the way over here to 10:30 and 1 second. And this is doing nothing but chop right here. It is so fast, and there's so much activity right here. You can't possibly get in a trade at that time. But if you wait to see if it's going to take a direction, you did get a nice down move, a safe down move. You can't even put a chop box in here, but a safe down move is when it departs this deviation level right here. This is the half deviation. But to take that from about 46.10-ish down to the red ice, that's a pretty good trade, about 40 ticks, which is pretty nice. When it gets to the red ice, you can expect this to fiddle around in here. There's a lot of contracts bought and sold right around this. But boy, look at this. Got an NVP arrow, an E, and a P, all right here in one thing at the red ice. This has to be really, really a good entry off of this red ice when it's got the E. And you got a trend catcher right here to take it on down either to another magnet or just keep on trailing. How do you know this is going to keep going right here? Look at the distance out to your 50 EMA. Look at that distance. Then look at the distance right here with your MVP and this is the trend. They just keep on staying. If you can sit there and trail your stop with those things, and I know Daryl can do that, which is one of the reasons he makes so darn much money. But this was just a wonderful trade. What do we know when it gets down here close to this 1.5 deviation? We know that the probability of it going on down any farther is really, really small. Really small. So probably, given the time of day and where it is right now, for me, I don't care if it does put up another E. I'm done. I'm done playing crude oil. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about today is we had a question in here this morning, and it was about somebody was getting a little confused between the Nadex, and they came into the room. They're on a demo, and they're on their 2-week trial, and they didn't understand the difference between Nadex and these futures contracts. So I want to address that for just a second, and I'm going to shut my mic off, and I'll be right back. Just a second. Shut off some noise. Anyway, this trader didn't quite understand that there's a lot of difference in this stuff, and so I wanted to go through this because when Daryl does the things he does for various groups to explain how the Apex system works, he's usually doing a demo on, and his whole talk is with Nadex, and so people get the idea that that's all Apex does. But if you're not familiar with the difference, Nadex is an exchange. It is an exchange like the New York Stock Exchange, like the Globex exchange, which is what we trade in futures, and it's a whole different animal. The advantage to using Nadex is the defined risk. Whatever it is, you cannot lose more than whatever you've paid for whatever you bought or sold. With futures, that is definitely not the case. You can lose more than you have in your account. You can lose your house. You can lose everything you ever heard of. So it's a different risk factor, and we try to minimize the risk when we're doing these trades. So be aware that the ticks, when we're talking about, that's why we talk about ticks. How many ticks did you make, or how many ticks did you lose, or how many ticks were you protecting? It's to keep us all on a level playing field, because some people are trading straight up futures, in which case it's sometimes $10 a tick, and some people trade the same exact. For instance, oil has a mini, and that's $1 a tick. Gold also has a mini, but there are various amounts, dollar amounts, that those ticks are worth, depending on the market you're trading. The entries are all the same. The exits are all the same. So this is applicable to assorted markets or assorted exchanges. It depends on where you have your brokerage account. So if you have your account with Nadex and that's all you trade, then you don't have to worry about all this other stuff, because it's $1 a tick, period, only, end of subject. They don't do it any other way. If you are, however, trading Forex, or the commodities. And the commodities don't trade all the same. Gold and crude oil do, but if you're going to trade soybeans and corn, and you can trade lumber futures and orange juice and all kinds of crazy things, cattle and hogs, and there's just a jillion things you can trade. The reason we don't really address those things in Apex is because of the liquidity in those markets. We try to stay since we're all the little people and we're not trading multi-million-dollar accounts, we want to go where the money is, and the money is in the markets where we're trading the futures index, the indexes, the YM and the NQ and the TF, and some people trade the ES. That's an example for me that has more liquidity than I really want to deal with. But the currencies all are fairly liquid. So this is a different animal, and it's why we try to get everybody to talk about how many ticks are you talking about. And I love what Anthony does. Anthony's a football freak. So he doesn't trade in ticks. He trades in yards. And that's how he mentally keeps himself on what he's trying to accomplish every day, is how much yardage does he want to make every day. When he makes 100 yards, he's got a touchdown. He's done. That's it. Great. So everybody has to kind of make their own little, head game they play. But be aware that if all you've ever traded is Nadex, and you are looking to move to futures or add futures, probably the best educational thing, I know Daryl has done a nice tape and video explaining this. It's on the forum someplace in the education section about the basics of markets. The oracle for all things known to mankind about futures is the CME group, which they are now the Globex exchange, and that's where our trades, if we're trading futures, that's where they clear. We have a brokerage account that holds the money and settles everything and pays you or does all that bookkeeping, but the actual trades are cleared through the Globex, which is CME group. So I hope that explains it a little bit. We all trade. Some people trade only Forex pairs, and they have a Forex pair broker, which is different than Nadex, and depending on what assorted pairs they're trading. So it pays to take the time to investigate the contract specifics of what you are trading. And thanks. Aaron always has the magic link here, but he just put up a link about the Apex training on different markets, and it's Apex strategy concepts. So you might check that out, because these are things that really and truly you absolutely cannot trade with live money unless you completely understand what it is you're doing. So, yes, and clear. That's very good. You make a great point. Somebody has typed into the chat that they've been clearing the browser cache every day because they think they weren't on the same page. When we're talking about we're talking about clearing the data cache every day, and the magic button for that is on your Apex Toolkit icon. Wherever you keep that icon on your computer, then after you've closed down NinjaTrader every day, then bring up that icon, and there's a tools and clear cache, recent and all of it. So, but that will help you stay with really good data, because Daryl keeps saying over and over, if you get one tick of data corruption, it is going to give you a major migraine headache. So it's worth it to take the time every day to just clear that cache with that magic little button. Okay. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to have some news that we need to be aware of. Don't forget, today at 1:01 is the 30-year bond auction, which is why bonds haven't really moved too much today. I didn't pay too much attention to them because of the auction. But at 7 a.m. tomorrow is going to be not only some economic numbers from UK, but tomorrow, I believe, is the official day of their new prime minister. So if you're trading the British pound, I'd pay real close attention to it tomorrow. Then we have these wonderful, my all-time favorite, unemployment claims. Just what they claim the unemployment is. Gotta love the way they do that. And if you trade Nadex, tomorrow's nat gas report at 10:30. And then tomorrow night, there's quite a bit of Chinese news. I don't know if anybody trades anything to do with the Chinese markets, but that might affect the Aussie dollar some. So anyway, this has been my view from my world in Apex land.